Alright, now let's build another section where user can enter education details. So before doing that, I will want to edit this link, and whenever user go to home page and hit this link, it should take the user to the user detail add section. Okay, so for that, this is the route. I have given the route name user detail.create, and that route we will use in resources main.plate. Here I will create the a tag, and I will I'll put the href as a route, that route which will take to create form. Okay, so after submitting is done, we'll take that to next section. For that, let's go to user detail controller, and here after the store save, instead of redirecting to back, we will redirect user to, so redirect to the route. So that route will be education dot create. So this route we haven't created yet, but we'll create this route. So that will be like this, education, and here we need education controller, right? So for that we need to create controller, model, everything. So we'll need everything, that's why we want to create everything, like model, migration file, controller. Those three files we need. So let's go ahead, open up terminal, PSP artisan, make model, education, MCR, migration controller, resourceful controller. Okay, so once that is created, we can now use education controller and create. And next, let's go to create education table migration file. We'll create some fields. So in education table, we'll need string. Alright, so I have put these fields. We'll need school name, location, degree, field of study, graduation start date, and end date. So these are the fields we are going to create. Okay, so let's go ahead and create this table PSP artisan migrate. Done. So meanwhile, we have education controller as well. Let's first go to web. So we have this route in place. Now we can use that route in user detail controller. So after user detail has been saved, now we can successfully redirect that to education create route. So let's put some content on that route. So what we want to do on this route? So education create route, we want to do same thing like we did on user detail create route. We will return a view. So that view will be some blade file where user can enter the education detail. Education. Alright, so education create form, we will build that. Resources, views, new folder called education. Create a new file called create.plate. Okay, so this file will be similar to user detail create. So I will copy this user detail create file and paste it into education. So I will just edit something here. Education details. So this error one will be repeated on every file. So it is a good idea to put this on layout file itself. I will do that in a moment. For now it's okay. So user detail, instead it will go to education. We need to define this route as well. So now name will be similar to all those fields on migration file. So education table. So in this migration file we have these fields. I'll open these side by side. Okay, so this on your left is education create form, and on right is the table, education table. school name. Okay, looks like we have done some mistake on our web.php, because that button is taking us to, alright, so this is, so the problem is we have two routes with same name, that's why it is taking us to this route, right? So this is not user detail, this is education. Alright, okay, so go to home page, build now, it will take you to user detail. Here you can put user detail, submit, it will take you to education detail. Here you will enter your name. Alright, so you need to change the placeholder. Here it is saying full name. Let's go to education, create. So just change placeholder to school name. Alright, so there we go. So let's submit these data to backend and save it. So we have this action education, we need to create this route so that we can save all these, put this information to backend and save it from controller. Alright, to define route, same process, go to create education. So you know what, I will tell you a shortcut. So instead of creating all these route over and over again, what you can do is route resource. So there is something called resource. Here you can say education and then just put the education name of the controller. Education controller. So doing this will generate some routes, like this will generate route like this automatically, we don't need to do this. Route post, it will generate other routes like update, delete, create, show, index route. Alright, so you can see on documentation about route resource, just go to the route section and you'll get to know about that. So now we can get rid of all this. This is shortcut. Similarly, same thing for user detail. Just to user detail, user detail controller. Alright, so now we can get rid of all this route. And same thing, we need to do middleware auth on all of these. So this way we can get rid of all these route with one line. So it will create another 4 or 5 routes that you can see on documentation page, which we will need later on. Right now we don't need them. Alright, so that's it. Now let's go to create education, create, and here, so this route is already defined, now we don't need to define. So this will take us to store, and the store functionality will be same as the store functionality of user detail. We just need to change something, just need to change these. So school name is required, degree is required, so now we need education. So make sure to import like this. Now we can get rid of this. You know what, we'll do a small change. So suppose we have auth user, so we can get auth user like this. and then on auth user we can call education. All right, so auth user education, and here I can call create method and then pass in all the request data that is coming from form. So this is one liner to create education. So what we are doing here is we are calling the education relationship, which we have to define, we haven't defined yet, and then call the create and pass all the request data, and it will look all the fields here that matches all the form fields and then fill the data in. So in order to achieve this, right now it will throw error if we try to do that. So to achieve this we need to do two things. First thing, we need to define the relationship called education on user model. Second, we need to specify the fillable field. So whenever you do create, you need fillable fields on your model, like we did on user detail inside app. So last video we did like this. So by the way, I'm just switching to different files using Control P and then typing the file name. So you have idea, you must have idea where all these files are. So models are inside app, controllers inside HTTP controllers. All right, so don't get confused by this. User detail. Okay, so now let's go to user and first define let's define education. So public function education, let's define that method. So this is the return, this has many, so one user can have many education class, that's it. All right, so now we have some field, we should have one field on education table so that it can detect which education is this, which user this education belongs to. All right, so let's go to education migration, education table. So in this table we'll need one field like we did on user detail table. So in user detail table we have user ID, same thing we'll need for education blade. So just use Control P, and from here it is quite easy rather than visiting from here right pane. Okay, so that's done. Now let's go ahead and create the table by running migration. Let's open up terminal. Okay, we have already migrated, but migrate will roll back. So this will roll back the recently done migration, which is education table migration. Now we have updated the field. Now we migrate, and now we'll get all updated fields there. Okay. So everything's set. Now let's test. Let's go to browser, go to education create, and here let's create. Now let's save education. Okay, so we got mass assignment exception. So same thing, we need to do mass fillable, we need to put fillable fields like we did on user details. So to put fillable, you need to go to app/education, and same like user detail, we need to put that in fillable and specify which fields are fillable. Alright, so I put all fields in fillable. Now if we go and refresh or submit with same data, we should get success message, or we should have that data in education's table. So here we have education, and we should have all data like California University, everything, user ID as well. Yeah, so we are doing good. After adding education detail, we want to create another page where user can see all the education that user has currently added, something like this. So here we can see our education summary, what education we have entered. If we want to edit that, we can edit, we can delete, we can add another degree. So user can have many education, right? So that's why. Okay, so now let's create that page. So after hitting save education, we'll take the user to that page. So let's go to our VS Code and go to education controller. So that page, we will call that page as index page, because index of education, index means all the listing. All right, that's why this sounds good to me. So return. So first we'll get all the education we'll get like this, auth, user, and then education we call. So this is how we access all the education. So let's die dump education. What we'll get, go to browser, let's hit that endpoint. So that endpoint will be /education. So we have created all these routes, so it will return us one data like this that we have just added, right? So now we can loop through it and display it on our page. Okay, now let's return view education dot, we'll call it index. This we need to create now. So that is inside resources, views, education. We have only one. We need to create another new file called index.blade.php. Alright, so I'll copy some stuff from here. These extend thing will be same in index as well, so I'll paste that. So end section, so inside here I will put s2 education summary, and for each education as, let's call it E for now. And end for each. So here we'll display, just now let's display as list item, or let's display as paragraph for now. And here let's display school name, like so. Now let's see how it looks. Let's go to this page, education. So undefined variable education, because that variable we need to pass to this view from education controller, right? So the way we pass is like this, or we can pass like this, compact education. Now we shouldn't get any error. Like this we can get it. Okay, so in every page we need to put this on controller. So why don't we just let me format it to make it look nicer. Okay, so as you can see, it is just to the right. We need to put it on center, right? So we are doing, let's go to layouts app, and in layouts app all the way to bottom, here we are yielding the content. Let's put everything on container. Okay, and now on index education summary. To make look like this, we need to put it on bootstrap card, right? So let's get rid of this. So by the way, we are inside education index. So before card default. For now, let's get rid of image. Title will be school name or degree. Yeah. Okay, looks okay. And here we need edit and delete button. Before button. So here we'll need another button to allow user to add another summary, another education, right? So after the loop we will put another button before. So by the way, if you are wondering what I'm doing, so this snippet I'm using this bootstrap for snippet. So you can go to, so you can install this bootstrap for snippets. Just search for bootstrap for snippets and you'll get to this one with 5-star rating. Bootstrap 4 font awesome for all snippet. Just install this and you'll have all these. Or another option is to go to bootstrap site and copy all the code from there. So if you need card, just copy the code of card from there. Similarly for button. Yeah, so I find it easier, that's why. Before button, a button, add another. All right, so this add another button will take us to, will open same form, right? Same education form. So this sref will be same as route education dot create. All right, add another. So let's add some margin there. You can add margin light, margin top 4. There we go. Let's add margin of 3. Okay, so add another education, just hit here and we will get back to another education. So let's add another education, save education. Yeah, so after saving we need to redirect to this route, just /education, so that we can see all these, right? Okay, so for doing that, just go to education controller and store redirect to education dot index. All right, so after storing, just redirect to index. So these all route we are getting from this resource. This resource will generate these routes, /education dot create. All right, similarly for editing, deleting. Okay, so for after doing that, we need to add edit and delete functionality, right? There we go. So now we need to edit these. So whenever we hit edit, it should take us to edit. So for that, let's go to index and in edit button should take us to the route, which will display us edit form, right? So route education dot edit so it will autocomplete what route are available. And second thing, you need to pass E. Just pass E so that we know which education to edit, right? And this will open up, this will take us to education controller edit route. Just die dump, I am here. Yeah, there you go. And now here you need to display a view, return view education dot edit. We'll create that view, just pass in compact education like so. And now let's create this education dot edit. Resources, views, education. So education dot create. So I will copy everything from education create and create new file inside education folder named edit blade.php. So I'll paste everything from create to edit. So now it will take us to, let's use route. It's good practice to use route. Education dot update. Alright, so now method will be put method, and one additional field we need to add is, so here post, because browser will only have this post and get requests, but we need to send request to put request to that. So if we use method put like this, it will send the put request. Alright, so we have all these route available from resource route. Okay, so in documentation you can see, if you do resource photos like this, you will have all these URI from photos slash create, post request with this, and all these names available to you. Alright, that's why we are using education.store, education.show, edit. Okay, so alright, so we are on edit form. If we go to browser and okay, here if we hit edit, yeah, so missing required route, yeah, required parameter. So update also accepts education, right? Because we need to update this education, that's why we need to pass as second parameter to the function route. Okay, now everything looks good. Yeah, edit. So whenever we are editing certain education, we need to have these all pre-filled, right? All fields should be filled. So to fill those, we can do value. So all these value fields should be on all input field. Just update these. Okay, so now we are using value. Now if we refresh, we should see all these. So suppose we want to edit this California, or let's see Louisiana. So we have changed from California to Louisiana. Save education. So right now we have no code for updating, so let's write that inside education update. So education update will take you to education controller update method over here, right? So validation will be same. So I will copy everything from store, because store and update are similar. Okay, only slightly different. So validation will be same. So instead of create like this, we have we'll get rid of everything from here. So education update, like this, education update, and pass in all request data. And after update is done, we'll take to education and index. That's totally fine. Yeah, that's it for update. Now let's test. Let's edit. Yeah, so BE Louisiana University. All right, we can edit this TKJS from. So for destroy part, we can destroy like this, education, just call in delete method like this, and return, just return back. Okay, so let's go to index, and here we have delete, but delete won't work like this. So whenever we put here route, it will send the get request, but delete is done through delete request in Laravel. So to generate the delete request, we need a form, right? Yeah, never mind. So form, we'll need form which will redirect us to route education dot destroy. So it is cool that we have autocomplete feature, and here we can do like pass in E, which we want to delete. Action is all right. And here we need to, since it is form, we should have CSRF field. Also we should have method field. Okay, that's it. Now let's try to delete this last one. Looks like we have some problem here. We need to put it here method as well, right? So it is the post request form. Let's delete. Yeah, now it's deleted. Okay, so now we have everything like create, edit, delete related to education. Now you should be able to create do a complete CRUD for any model.